TQF again. He says, can Boruto now create Shinjutsu? I guess he's talking about the new Rasengan. What do you think? That's a Shinjutsu ability?
I mean, it, I want to say yes, but like all the Shinjutsu that we see in the series already just came from the Otsutsuki God, right? So like, or most. So like,
hold on, what? Who?
The Shinjutsu that we see in the series came from the Otsutsuki God. They like took pieces of his DNA and
I don't
planted
think
it into this.
Kawaki's is. I don't think the Sukuna Haikono or
Oh,
Daikoku is.
yeah. Well, the Sukuna Hikono. Oh, that might be. No, I think the oh no. The Sukuna Hikono was he was able to do that even without the dojutsu. The dojutsu itself, I believe, came from
No,
the Otsutsuki God.
I think it was stated that like by Momo that now I'm going off of memory, which is ass, right? So correct me if I'm wrong. But I think Momo said like Sukuna Haikono Daikokuten was Shinjutsu, but specifically like Damon's reflectability, Ada's Senrigan stuff, and Coat's claw marks came specifically from Shibai, I think. But I don't think like Ishiki's powers come from Shibai, which is what Kawaki has.
That's true. That's true. So I think if going by that, I think Boruto would definitely need some form of Shinju. Well, at this point, I don't even think he needs one because my angle, originally was like he needs to compete with Kawaki, and if Kawaki is getting Shinjutsu ability that could possibly make him significantly stronger, if Boruto is doing this, hypothetically, we don't fully know without Shinjutsu, or if he doesn't have Shinjutsu, does he really need it? We were talking about he was doing this in base. He didn't have his Karma alone. He possibly has Sage mode. Like he might even get Garaga back. Like so, there's a bunch of stuff that Boruto could possibly use to where he might not even need Shinjutsu. But then again, that in itself might just be like a uninformed take because with how the power scaling is being gapped right now, like Boruto's one shot in code, like in a few chapters, Boruto might actually need that Shinjutsu. So, but as of right now, I'm gonna say no because we don't really have any official word. I'm going to also assume no. However, Boruto would probably be like it would definitely be realistic right now for Boruto to have Shinjutsu simply because he is a genius. Like we were talking about it earlier, and this right here kind of goes into to the point that I do want to make it a bit further. Hypothetically, Momoshiki helped him to make the Uzuhiko, but like the ideas that Momoshiki has, it's like, well, bump the ideas that Momoshiki has. Supposedly, we understand that Boruto is supposed to get all knowing of chakra. I forgot how the terminology works. He's supposed to know everything, and even if he doesn't really know everything, Momoshiki has a bunch of knowledge that I'm pretty sure he's thinking some stuff, and Boruto's probably getting that intel from Momoshiki. Because Boruto is a genius, Boruto is now able to take that intel and like kind of form it into a way where it's like no one's ever really done it before. So like if Momoshiki had possibly like, let's say, tools of possibly utilizing Shinjutsu, Boruto would be one of those characters to be like, all right, I could possibly put these tools together and actually now create some Shinjutsu. Whereas like with the Uzuhiko, and I don't, matter of fact, I'll probably bring that up later, but like that, in my personal opinion, would probably be like why he's probably significantly would be like one of the more realistic choices to possibly formulate a Shinjutsu.
Yeah, I think the answer might lie in the description of Shinjutsu. I think it translates to like divine arts. So I'm like, okay, well, if I look at everything that's been used, it's been used by Otsutsuki. So it might be like some kind of Kekkei Genkai genetic thing, right? Because the genetics were passed over from one person to like three, being Code, Damon, and Ada. So it's obviously a genetic component, and it comes from like the dojutsu. In the case of the Sukuna Haikona and Daikokuten and Ada's abilities, at least. So I would say it's a genetic component. Divine arts, the Otsutsuki call themselves God, and the genetic stuff comes from the Otsutsuki. So I think Boruto being a pure God, having Momo's DNA, outside of any other descriptors or explanations, I would say that anything I think Momo does should be classified as a as a Shinjutsu, particularly what he does with his dojutsu. And if that's the case, I don't think there's any contradictory evidence to that. I'm not trying to like prove it, but I think it's the most likely case.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I might be mistaken. I think that Momoshi kind of made it clear that he himself wasn't using Shinjutsu when he was kind of explaining it, or he doesn't really use Shinjutsu when he was
What did he say?
explaining
I mean,
it.
the way Amato explains it is basically just Otsutsuki powers are Shinjutsu. So I think literally any jutsu the Otsutsuki used and created is probably a Shinjutsu. That
That's
would
not what I
include like
got from it.
Momoshiki's amplify ability, where he releases jutsu stronger, probably a Shinjutsu.
Nope.
But in Boruto's case, he's both a human ninja and also a Otsutsuki. So I can make an argument for both sides. Like,
Nah.
it's definitely plenty strong to be a Shinjutsu, but that doesn't really matter. Like, I feel like it seems more like a ninja ability, but he is 100% a Otsutsuki, so maybe it's technically a Shinjutsu. But
Do you guys?
I think it's more like a ninja ability, and that's
Nope.
just really good.
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah. I don't. I
free game
really
crazy.
doubt. No, I'm just saying, like, no, he because Amado didn't say. I don't remember because like, you're gonna have to pull up a panel where he said that because he didn't say nothing about every Otsutsuki uses Shinjutsu.
It's
Like-
the way he explains it. He explains that Otsutsuki powers contain hope. He continuously connects Shinjutsu to hope, Otsutsuki to Shinjutsu, the
Give me
Karma
that pan-
Seal
I need
to
that panel combo.
Shinjutsu and hope, where at the very least multiple Otsutsuki can use the Karma Seal. In fact, the lower ranked Otsutsuki are the ones who are supposed to use the Karma
Wait,
Seal because they're the
how-
sacrifices for the Divine Tree. So if a lower ranked Otsutsuki
How about
can
we
use
just pull up
Shinjutsu,
the panel?
I feel like most of them can.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it right now.
What chapter is
need-
it? Like
I need
70, 79? Let's pull,
Yeah,
let's pull it up.
I need that panel because from what I remember, he was just talking about what's my boy name the god
Shibai.
guy. Yeah, Shibai.
No,
Here we go.
I mean, if you want, I made a 30-minute video explaining it.
Oh, bro, I don't have 30 minutes. I mean, what's it
Not
I didn't
30 minutes
explain
isn't just to that
that for-
segment, but
that's
that's
crazy.
kind of the joke. But nah, but he does imply just Otsutsuki powers are Shinjutsu. Shibai just has the best of Shinjutsu.
Then why
He's
did
got
Momoshiki?
the Shinjutsu of Shinjutsu, omnipotence.
Then why did?
But
why did
omnipotence
Momo-
is not just a Shinjutsu; it's the Shinjutsu of Shinjutsu. It's like the peak of the peak.
Then why didn't Momoshiki have to kind of like go back and like kind of have to like go into his library of Otsutsuki knowledge and stuff and come back and do his like homework and study and stuff and come back to Boruto with an answer on what happened?
No, he just said
Bro,
he knows all
remember
Shinjutsu.
that.
Then he had to just think to himself, like,
Guys,
that's
we
what
could,
Shinjutsu
we
is.
could
okay.
just we could just pull up the chapter, you know.
Yeah, real quick, guys. It's chapter
I can't because
75.
I'm on my phone.
Yeah. So I never got the impression that like he like only Shibai. Well, obviously that's not the case because Kawaki. And that's just based off my memory. If I'm wrong about that, it's cool. But what I was saying. So yeah, the divine arts that seems to be linked to the genetics of the Otsutsuki in particular. Boruto's an Otsutsuki now, so I think he can use divine arts. I think that makes sense. So that's kind of like where I'm at with it.
Well, another thing too, though, is
Hey,
Amato explains how ninjutsu was like ninja created ninjutsu, and it fundamentally attempts to mimic Shinjutsu. He's not saying that Otsutsuki are mimicking their Shinjutsu. It's like, no, you ninja try to mimic it, but the Otsutsuki are the gods who can actually.
Kamuyu's right. As I just said now, I know all Shinjutsu, so Momoshiki knows Shinjutsu, but I have never heard of such an ability. In short, it is possible. And yeah, wow.
As I said just now, I know all Shinjutsu, but I have never heard of such an ability. I say so when he says I know, the way I interpret that is that he knows of, not that he can use it.
Yeah, he can't
because,
use all Shinjutsu.
Because if that's the case, he can use Daikokuten and Sukuna Haikona and all this other stuff. Right?
it begs to argue that he possibly knows some type of Shinjutsu though. Like he probably has his own Shinjutsu abilities. Is what
I think his abilities are Shinjutsu. Like
I think that too.
Kami, absorbing, amplify, releasing.
I think that too. But the specific panel, that's not what that's saying. Based upon.
No. I just brought that up because yeah, it says he knows all Shinjutsu. Like he knows about it, so it's I can just
I'm looking through my videos so I can find. I have all the panels. If I can.
Where's Amato talking about it? I'm just gonna have
part
to
of it
through.
where I have
Amato right here. Okay.
Naruto says, I've been wondering, Amato, how the heck did you develop so many unbelievable abilities? Amato says, develop wouldn't be accurate. I am a mere human, not a god. The crafting of abilities is a feat permitted only to gods. So there you go. The crafting of abilities. I don't know. Like that must mean something other than what it literally says, because like Naruto, like Kakashi crafted an ability. Like what is he talking about?
that's like cap. Like,
but
it's not to be taken literally.
yeah, I don't feel like deep diving into the chapter. I ain't gonna lie, but I could have sworn I remember, and we even talked about it, referenced it a bit earlier, how Shinjutsu are pretty much jutsus that you don't really have to use hand signs for. Like,
But so is the
Boruto
Chidori.
Kawaki flying.
Yeah, it's a lot of jutsus that they don't use.
Yeah, no.
Like
Just because a jutsu doesn't
Rasengan?
need hand signs doesn't make it a Shinjutsu. It's just that Shinjutsu don't require hand signs.
True.
It's not both ways. It's one way.
True, but specifically with the flight thing, we were told by Amano that flight is something very common to the Otsutsuki members. In my personal opinion, this could possibly be like a form of Shinjutsu. So, like, if that's the case, then yeah, they are. They kind of are. They already rock like Shinjutsu.
Shinobi can fly.
Yeah,
True,
but
it's
he's
like
just talking
kind.
about
the way that they're doing it.
It's
like
like
obviously, Onoki has a different method of flying than like 6-path Senjutsu flight or Suzuki flight.
Wait,
So the way Onoki does it isn't a Shinjutsu.
I think it's just something that's inherent.
Mimicking a Shinjutsu kind of thing.
I think
is that confirmed?
I think it's just something inherent to Otsutsuki's. Like they all can fly. Like a
But to answer my guy Melon, I don't think it's confirmed, but one of the things that was kind of talked about was that humans with jutsus, we kind of try to mimic what Shinjutsu actually is, and Shinjutsu is like you just naturally doing something. So if Mel and Meek. So if Kawaki and Boruto, if they're like naturally learn how to fly, like it's like second nature type of thing.
Kawaki and which one's Boruto? I'm curious.
But we're operating like this whole foundation is assuming that flight via Otsutsuki is Shinjutsu.
Well, I just think
I'm just assuming.
I don't think that's Shinjutsu. Like I just think it's something inherent into Otsutsuki. They can just all fly. Like this is some ability that they have. Like all fish underwater can breathe underwater. Like
I don't know if
that they can do.
Flying is a jutsu, or if it's just like it's just like their skin being white. It's just there. Like they can blink, they can breathe. Like is it a jutsu or is it just part of like their natural livelihood? I don't know. Like that's
like Wavito says Onoki uses earth release to fly. So
like he's using a jutsu to fly, but like is Momoshiki necessarily using a jutsu? It doesn't seem like it. More so, it just seems like flying is like naturally.
I think they're doing the exact same thing. It's just the Otsutsuki are like more gifted with chakra, so they can do it in a way that's easier. That's all I think it is. Like
maybe,
the same thing Onoki's doing is just the same thing.
Or if they just fly like a bird.
I mean, all of it can be true. It's just a theory, but I just think it's something that's inherent to them. Like they can do that. Like if you just go back to like if you want to compare it to like Dragon Ball Z, like all Saiyans have Zenkai boost. It's just something that's in their DNA. So like you can just put it to something like that.
Yeah, but they're all just like when they do stuff, it's a manipulation of chakra.
It is,
like so like when Inoki flies, he's just manipulating chakra in a way that allows him to do that. It's the exact same thing the Otsutsuki are doing. Like the mechanics might be like a little different, but I just think the Otsutsuki just like having this inherent natural ability to manipulate chakra in a way that humans can't because they have to weave signs, right? Like Hagoromo, like he could just shoot lightning out of his hands, whereas like Indra had to weave hand signs to do the same thing. So
yeah.
Well, yeah, because